talk about the fact that as we're recording this episode right now, Lexi and I are in my house, and my house is amazing. I was literally just talking about how amazing my house is, but it makes a lot of noises, and it sounds like there's like footsteps above. So I'm waiting for the day. It might be today, because there's clearly a ghost in here. Someone is pissed off at me because something's happening in my house. But you can hear like these, like, it sounds like footsteps. So if I just stop in the middle of the episode and say, fucking listen, you won't be able to hear because I have a microphone on. It's footsteps that are constantly, like, I don't know what's happening in my house. But anyway, I am really excited for this episode. I talked about this topic a couple weeks ago, and the amount of DMs that I got, it was genuinely insane. But I was talking about my beginning parts of business. I get so many questions who are like, of quick people who are saying, I want to know how you got the business off the ground. Like, what did that look like? And I want to give you like true behind the scenes vibes, energy, guidance, BTS, knowledge, whatever you want to call it, of how I started both my businesses and what that process looked like. And I'm going to try to give you guys details that maybe you wouldn't have thought about. But I also want to remind you that my gift in business, the reason I crush supporting business owners to the level I do, is I'm all about simple. And I will say in both of these, in reflection of where I'm at now and where I was before, man, I kept things really simple. Well, actually, take it back. My first business, I kept very simple and it thrived. My second business, I fucking was all over the place and it was so bad. So I'm really excited to talk about the contrast between those two situations, because a lot of you guys wanting to launch businesses, oh my God, are you overcomplicating times 10? So anyway, let's go back 2.5 years ago when I first started my first business. I want to like literally break down all these pieces, but I started Her 7-Figure Story, which was a financial coaching business for women in late 2021, which is insane to think about. I guess it's almost basically 3 years now. But when I was turning 30 years old, I really wanted to share like my journey of becoming a millionaire by 30. And I obviously was not 30 yet, and I also was not a millionaire yet. In fact, I wasn't even like close to it, to be very honest with you. But I saw the insane, like just everything happening on TikTok, and I started seeing a lot of people talk about money, and I saw people that had businesses talking about money, and I was like, this is so interesting. I need to be growing a following on TikTok. And I want to be very clear that 6 months prior to this, my best friend Lauren would send me a TikTok every single day, and I didn't have the app. And I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I was one of those people who did not understand the power of social media at all until I got on it. And I posted a video about organizing my house, and people it blew up. And I was like, oh my God, I just had 14,000 people follow me. Like, this is so cool. And I think that was my first exposure to like, oh, social media, like this could be really impactful. Like, I don't know. So I basically, when I started my 29th year going into that, I said, I'm going to start creating a series on social media, and I'm going to get a big following talking about becoming a millionaire at 30. And I'm going to document my journey of becoming a millionaire at 30. I did not have a business yet. I had an LLC and I had no actual business. I was just like, I'm going to call it Her 7-Figure Story, and I'm going to literally talk about becoming a millionaire. And the whole idea of the business, you guys, I didn't know how it was become a business. I was just more like social media content, but I really just wanted to document every single day doing something. So literally every single day I posted day 1 of 365. And I said, today I learned about blah, 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 or today I did this, or today I'm going to try this side hustle. And my actual idea was to make money from side hustles, not by running a business. So what I was going to do is I was going to like DoorDash one time, and then I was going to like do this and that. I was just going to like flip a piece of furniture. Like, I had this idea of making money to make money. Like, I wasn't going to like create a business to make money, if that makes sense. I just was like determined to try every side hustle, invest better, talk about my investing strategy. Like, I was just going to talk about money for the entire year. And it was about 2 months into doing this, and I was kind of getting like a couple followers. Like, I think I had like 1,000 followers at the time. And I started seeing all these new people post and talk about coaching. And at the time, again, I didn't really have a business. I was like 2 months into posting on social media. No one really cared about what I was doing. They're like, this is interesting, but like, I didn't know what I was doing. And I started seeing people talk about coaching. And there was a specific person that was like, I help people create coaching businesses. So I basically binged her entire Instagram profile. I figured out what system she used. Like, I figured all this stuff. And I basically created a Kartra profile and like account. and I created a link on there for people to book a sales call because I didn't really know anything else to do. I was like, all right, like if people want to be sold into a program, like I'll just create a link in my bio, whatever. And I basically created a link for people to apply for career and finance coaching. Because again, I was talking about, making more money in my job, maybe applying for a promotion, like all these things. I was just talking about making money. And so that's what I did. I literally just put a link in my bio. It said career and finance coaching, book a time for a call. And then the call was like through Calendly or something, or in Kartra, because Kartra had the system. And I was like, you'd book a call in Kartra and you'd also fill out your information, like fine. So that was like October or November of 2021. So at this time I've been posting on TikTok for basically like 2.5 months. I didn't have more than like 1,000, maybe 2,000 followers. I didn't have a link in my bio because I didn't have anything. And then I basically added a link in my bio like that week. And that was the week when everything changed. I decided to call myself a finance coach, even though I didn't even know what I was coaching on, because I was talking about investing a lot at this point too, and people had questions about investing. So I was like, oh, I could like help someone invest or whatever. And I basically went on social media one day. I saw this girl, she was posting about working at Target, and she said, how much money should I have in my savings account? I'm 22. And I stitched it. I don't know how. I think I had seen like Tori Dunlap of Financial Feminist and her first 100K and all this other stuff, which I didn't find actually until I had already started posting about finance that I found her. But she was stitching a lot of videos, and so I was like, oh, I can stitch a video. So I literally just stitched a video, and I said, hey, Caitlin, thank you so much for your question. On TikTok, like my name's Ashley Bennington. I'm a finance and career coach for young women. Here's like 3 tips of what you should know about money. And the video blew up. Like, I don't fucking understand what I said that was so impactful. I literally said the words finance and career coach in the video. Again, this is late 2021, almost 2022. And basically what happened was I got like 18 applications that afternoon. Like I literally like application, booked on my call, booked on my calendar, booked on my calendar. I'm like, okay, but I don't even know what I'm offering. Like, I'm not kidding you guys. I got people on sales calls and I didn't have an offer. I did not have an offer. I didn't know what to do. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to hop on and I'm going to try to pitch like a couple coaching sessions for like a couple $100s and see what happens. So the first girl that hopped on, she's talking to me. I did have a checkout link in Kartra. I figured out how to make a checkout link, and I just put like 4 coaching sessions for $400, and I could obviously edit it on the call if she said no to the price point. And I basically hopped on the call and I was like, oh yeah, so like tell me about your situation. Also, by the way, I have a background in sales, so I know how to run a sales call. So I just asked her questions. I asked her what she wanted to learn, and she had like 4 or 5 main things that she wanted to learn. So I was like, all right, we're going to focus on this in session 1, this on session 2, this on session 3, this on session 4. Like, it's just $400 for 4 calls. Does that sound good? And she's like, yeah. I said, okay, well, I'm going to send you the link, because by the way, in sales, you will learn, get the payment. So all I did is I sent the link in Zoom. I said, while you're doing that, I'm going to send you your onboarding stuff. I didn't have a system set up for onboarding, so all I did was have like a general email, and I took her email that she used to pay for and booked the call, and I just put it in my Gmail, and I was typing it up, and I said, let me know when you submit. The moment she said send and I saw it come through, I just clicked whatever, because I could see on my phone like payment came through, and I just sent it manually, and I said, great, I want you to do this before our call. We'll have the first call. After the first call, I'll book the second. And I was just going to keep it super easy. I didn't like worry about a ton of systems or automations. I was like, all right, after the first call, we'll book the second. After the second call, we'll book the third. Also at this time, you guys, I was working a full-time job. I did not have capacity to have my schedule like organized already. So I said, you know what? If they want to meet immediately, great. If they want to have a week between calls, if they want to have 4 weeks, like I just kind of took it day by day. And then on the Zoom call, I would schedule it and say like call number 1. So I knew what call they were on. And that's what I did. And I did that for 18 people. And we basically made like $13,000, $14,000 because I kept upping the price like to $500 and $600, whatever. I did that for 18 people. I pretty much got yeses on all the calls. I think only 2 people didn't show up. And I made $13K in basically 2 weeks. And I want to explain that to you because I kept things very simple. The thing that I still preach today is what I did back then. I had a clear identity around like what I was good at, which is helping women understand how to put their money to work. I, had smart authority practices. I was marketing my value on social media. I was talking about the things that were most activating to people, which was a lot of investing, not saving versus investing, growing wealth, being able to retire early. I talked about all that. I had a smart conversion process. They went from TikTok to booking a call to paying, easy. and easy delivery. Like everything was easy. And I need you guys to understand that I did that for like 5 or 6 months. I just did one-on-one coaching. I kept it really, really simple, really easy. I at one point tried to make like a mastermind where it was like a 12-week long mastermind thing, and it was like 3 or 4K, because I was like, all right, I'm ready to like make something high ticket. And it was a mess because people would like just come on and like have questions, but there was no structure to the process. So like that was really hard. And then I was like, well, that's not working. So then I changed it to a 6-week program where it was basically like my one-on-one coaching process, but like a group. And that's when everything blew up. Now I was doing 1,000 bajillion sales calls, but that was literally how I got my first almost 6 figures. Like my 6th month of business, or going into my 6th month of business, that month is when we changed to group. I blew up on TikTok again, and I had like 120 applications in a matter of like a couple days, which was kind of insane. But my first like almost 6 figures, I think I went into that month at like 80K. So I crossed over 6 figures in like month 5 or 6. That was all from one-on-one coaching, you guys. Like it was not hard. Like I need you guys to understand that if you wanted to make an additional 6 figures this year, you need 4 things: smart identity, incredible authority building marketing skills, simple sales skills that makes people say yes every single time, and easy delivery. If you have those 4 things, you can make 6 figures this year. I need you to hear me say that. So that's what I basically did for the first business. Her 7-figure story grew. I pivoted a couple times. Now I want to talk about what I did with By the Blazer, because I fucked up. I made things so stupid and so complex in the beginning, and it was so dumb. It worked out okay because I kept those 4 things at the foundation of what I did. I just made it more complex. So her 7-figure story was like a year and a half old when I decided that I wanted to do business consulting, because my background is marketing and sales. And so I basically obviously knew how to get the business going. I knew how to set up the systems fine. But when I started the business, I wanted to do kind of what everyone else was doing, which was a building mastermind and a scaling mastermind. At this time, I was at 50K months. I knew how to scale other businesses pretty well, but did I know how to do it exceptionally well? No. The only thing I really understood was marketing and sales, because that was my background. I didn't really know a lot about offer suites. I just knew only from my experience. And some of the other pieces of business, I only knew from my experience. I didn't really understand how to take on clients of different complexities. I probably should have just stayed with coaching coaches that were newer in business, trying to get to their first 6 figures as quickly as possible. Like I wish I would have leaned into that gift of like scale to 6-figure year or scale to 50K months with TikTok. Like I should have just focused on that and made a mastermind for people wanting to make, simple money, whatever. But instead, I saw that every other coach, literally every coach out there, they had like a membership, they had a building mastermind and a scaling mastermind. And so I was like, okay, great. I'm going to have Disruptive Brand Method, the Architect program, and the Expansion program. And I wanted to start with Architect because I didn't have any trainings or anything. So I think it was December of 2022, about a year later, that I took my first couple clients for the Architect program. Now, I wanted to structure it like a mastermind. It was going to be 3 months. And I think I originally sold it at $2,500, which by the way was nothing. The problem was I was appealing to like brand new business owners that weren't really serious. And so most people were on like a $300 to $400 a month payment plan, which just is not very easy to stack. However, I think I had like 10 plus clients in my first round, because a lot of people from her 7-figure story, I basically said like, hey, go into Architect, I'll help you launch a business. So it was like a launching building program kind of. And I had a lot of different clients in a lot of different niches. And I didn't really know how to manage the clients because, again, there wasn't like a week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. So people would just like come on calls. I'd answer questions. Like I didn't really know how to run the program. So it was good that it wasn't very expensive. But basically what happened was 3 months in, I was like, I don't like that this is 3 months. I want to make it 6 months. And so I just gave everyone who was in it like an extra 3 months. And then no one was showing up, because if people are not paying, they don't pay attention. So basically everyone that came in from the beginning was not in there. Now, this was the other issue I had. I basically said, hey, I'm just taking Architect clients. I'll sign Expansion clients to start in February or March, because I had less people who were excited about scaling with me, because I obviously didn't prove that I could help other people scale businesses, just myself. So I felt like there was a identity crisis happening, which is why I should have just stuck to the Architect program and taken that to like 7 figures and just simplified it of like launch your business or build your business with me. And so I was like, great, we're gonna have the Expansion program start in February. And I made that like 4 or 5K, I think, or something in like that. Again, so cheap now looking back. But the idea is that both programs could have unlimited one-on-one calls. They could have a lot of access. Like I just gave them everything. It was just like, I'm here for whatever you need kind of thing. Like that was not a program, like no transformation, no knowledge. I didn't have a framework. Like I didn't approach it at all the same way I did the first business. Like the first business, I had such a simple process. I should have just took on one-on-one clients as well. I think because I had gone from one-on-one to group and saw the value of that, I said, oh, I'm not going to start with one-on-one and buy the blazer. I should have done one-on-one. I should have done like 6K for 6 months of one-on-one. I would have literally made 50K my first month. I'm not even kidding you. But again, I overcomplicated it. I just questioned everything. It was so stupid. So I had this mastermind. No one was really showing up, or they were like lightly showing up. They weren't paying very much. I think I was at like 10K a month my first month. And then I started selling expansion spots. So we kind of got to like a $15,000 or $20,000 a month pretty quick. In fact, my third month of business, I think we did 70K of sales. So like clearly things were going okay. But I remember my first client for expansion, I tried to pitch expansion at like 10K, and the girl was like questioning it and going back and forth. And she was meant for an architect program. She was like foundations of business. And she's like, well, I'm more aligned with the idea of expansion. So I want that, but I don't want to pay it. So I somehow gave her, I gave her expansion at like half the price. I don't even remember what I did, but basically she was the most nightmare client I ever had. Like everything was bad. She also wanted like unlimited one-on-one calls, and I had limited to 2, and she's like, I want whatever. So I had no compass. I had no idea what I was doing. And I approached Buy the Blazer with no plan. And looking back, knowing that was only a year and a half ago was actually insane to me. I went in thinking scale. I went in thinking 7-figure scalability, and all I should have focused on was how do I get to my first $100,000 in 2 to 3 months? And if I would have done that, I would have had one offer. I would have marketed on TikTok, and I probably would have started with one-on-one, come up with my process for scaling a business, then created a mastermind. And although I don't think every business owner needs to start with one-on-one, the flexibility, the agility you have when you're only working on one-on-one with clients is insane, you guys. To keep your business simple and to figure out your framework and your process with one-on-one is one of my favorite tactics in business ever. Because when you work in a group capacity or in like a program capacity or something else, you don't really know what you're doing. And therefore, it just creates chaos when nothing goes the right way. If you start with one-on-one, you can kind of figure out your framework, then you can market that, then you can create a group program around that. And I genuinely do believe that if I would have started with one-on-one with Buy the Blazer, I probably would have saved myself about $100,000 of headache investing in people that were not good fits because they were teaching me things that didn't make sense for me. I probably would have actually scaled my business much quicker. And that's like my takeaway, honestly, looking back. I think I should have started Buy the Blazer with one-on-one business coaching. I should have charged it like 6, 7K, $1,000 a month, pretty simple, easy, and basically taken on like 10 or 15 clients, hit my first like 50K cash month, and then I could have scaled one-on-one because honestly, my capacity always feels really big. I could probably have 15 one-on-one clients right now without any burnout. And then I could have been at 50K cash months, and then I could have launched a mastermind as a downsell opportunity, and I could have had one signature mastermind. So now here we are a year and a half later. I went from blueprint architect expansion, and then I consolidated it to like architect and expansion, and then I now have just DBM. And I launched a membership, 2 different memberships. I just went so many different directions with Buy the Blazer. I honestly think I approached my business smarter with Buy the Blazer or with her 7-figure story than I ever did with my current business. And it's genuinely because the approach was really simple. The other thing I wish I would have done with Buy the Blazer is kept sales calls probably last year. I wish I would have just had one signature offer or a mastermind or one-on-one mastermind hybrid, a little bit higher ticket, and just done sales calls. Because again, I was selling people into architect, but because I was so afraid to not have enough people in expansion, I would also try to move people up into expansion that weren't ready for that. And it became very confusing. My expansion program for the first like year, honestly, was just like a mess and was basically just one-on-one coaching at a really cheap rate. So I know this is like a lot of like thoughts and ideas and things, and probably some of it you can take with you and not. But I genuinely, looking back at businesses and what I would have wanted to do with Buy the Blazer and basically what we're doing now, is I want you guys to have one offer, one funnel, meaning one process from people finding you to buying from you. For me, that was always sales calls, and like one signature marketing channel. Like genuinely in my business, you guys, I look back at By the Blazer and I was like, I could have probably done 7 figures in the first 8 or 9 months if I would have just focused those 3 things. But the complexity I added into the business was so fucking overwhelming that it just really kept me from being able to get there. And as I'm saying this now, I'm like, damn, I think about what I could even do more in my business now. It totally kept me from enjoying the business, feeling freedom in the business, hiring the right people, giving the clients the support I wanted. Like I never really found that balance until this year. So I think for any of you guys that are starting a business, I just want you to focus on those 4 key areas. I want you to think, why do people need to hire me? I want you to develop that recipe, that process. I want you to know who you serve best, only market to them. I want you to make marketing easy, choose an outreach platform, choose a nurturing, doesn't matter. TikTok was obviously mine. I just want you to keep everything easy. Give yourself the flexibility you need to pivot. For me, one-on-one's really nice because you can pivot at any time. You can add in calls, delete calls. It doesn't really matter, but you have the ability to kind of create the offer along with the client. So just charge enough where it like feels good for you and do that, you know? So those are some of my like biggest takeaways, but I want you guys to know that if you wanted to create a 6-figure business in 6 months, you can do it. If you wanted to create a 6-figure business in a year, you can do it. If you want to scale one-on-one coaching to 50K or 100K a month, you can do it. In fact, I could literally do it right now in my business. You have so much power right now that you are not utilizing because you're adding so much structure and shit into the business that you don't need. I want you to keep it simple. And if you can do that, the business you can create is so fucking powerful. So I would love to at some point open up Q&As about launching a business, scaling a business. I probably will do that on Instagram. So if you're not following us on our Instagram, I highly recommend you do that. But I hope for anyone who's in that beginning stage of business or under like a 10 or 20K a month business right now, that this gave you a little bit of clarity. I want you to go into your business today and I want you to eliminate like 3 things. It can be an offer, it can be a marketing channel, it can be a process, it can be a funnel, I don't care. Eliminate it, and in 6 weeks, tell me how much better your business is. I promise you it will change everything for you. Simple truly does scale better, and my differences between my first business being simple, my second business being an actual clusterfuck, is definitely a testament to that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope it gave you a little bit of clarity, and be on the lookout on the Instagram account for maybe a Q&A section. Would love to answer any specific questions about scaling businesses if that's something that's a priority for you guys this year. So anyway, enjoy the rest of your day. I love you all so much. I will see you guys next week.